Hello, and welcome to this video. Today we are doing the predictable. We are playing Our Life because I have had a few requests from some friends that just didn't think the love letter was enough. They wanted to see just how beautifully made the game actually is, and you know what? I'm not one to say no to these things, so I say we just honestly start off with a new file because let's start the adventure anew. I have done this before. I have to admit I've done this before, but oh, it feels so good. New file. Would not mind. And here our life begins again. So I would not like the gameplay explanation sections to appear because I know everything there is to know, so I'm gonna say no. There we go. So my character, honestly, I love it when the names are voiced. And my name's Rebecca.
Rebecca.
That's right, that's me. That's me. And I'm so cringy. You might have seen it if you saw the love letter, that my name is Rebecca Love in here because that's cringy and I love it. So I identify as she, her, so there we go. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill this out like I usually do. This is a cute like kid haircut. But let's just say, I mean, I feel like everybody has their designated thing when it comes to this game. But I'm just gonna say choppy one. And no back hair, because I've always had short hair, pretty much anyway. And I love that it's yellow and not blonde. But I do have blonde hair, but you can't tell because I've had purple, pink, whatever, a lot of different hair colors. But yes, and I have a few scars, but none of which are on my face like this. And I have no birthmarks. I do, however, have a scar on my chest. I like dresses. You can't tell I'm wearing a one-piece hoodie right now, but I usually like dresses as well. Bracelets. I mean, this is also my kid self, so yeah, let's just say that that's done for me. And let's start our life. So, summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usual sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of school-less vacation with it. Sounds great. Huh. Oh, my camera just decided to die. Hold on. So I decided to put the camera up in the other corner because I think that lends itself better for me to be able to, or you to be able to read the text. So let's just, we're back. I put a new battery in, or not a new battery. I had to charge it, but anyway, here we go. That included the people. I don't know how far I went. Let's just see the log. What's the log? Okay. During the summer, your moms didn't like you want to wander off too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. Okay. There you go. That included the people. That's where we came from. Great. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. Now, what does that mean? They built businesses, they got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. And then, of course, we get our beautiful options. You didn't really get why they always said hi. They saw you every day, but you nodded back at them anyway. You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, since most of the tourists that came and went every summer were the same ones. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. Okay, so I was a very extroverted kid when I was younger, so You ended up saying hi to a lot of different people, would probably be my answer. Anyway, you enjoyed learning about where they were visiting from and hoped to visit those places one day too. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. Now guys, get ready for the main man. Okay, I mean, not the main man, but I wish. Anyway. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person, or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people who you didn't really recognize, or that you didn't recognize, really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. You hadn't exactly been listening at the time. You think it could be okay to talk to new people. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You remember that it's okay to run away if you feel uncomfortable. You don't have to worry about being polite then. Okay, so they mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to. Yeah. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door, but you were pretty interested. You wanted to know more about what was going on. Whether he was nice or not, you didn't want to be bothered. Okay, so once again, why am I yellow all the way right now? You slowed down, your eyes remaining fixed on the man. There was a split second where your eyes met, and you knew he was aware he wasn't alone on the street anymore. Hey! You raised your eyebrows at the shout. Did he want something? Is that why he was here? Here? The man stood up and started to make his way towards you. Not wanting to seem too approachable, you folded your arms and stared, just giving him one of those. That's what Cliff deserves anyway. Spoiler, his name is Cliff. Still unsure about him, but willing to be friendly, you offered the stranger a smile. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached. Okay, so once again, we going yellow. The man gives you a grin of his own back. Now I might blush a little bit. Do you live around here? What's your name? You looked at the man up and down. Oh, yes I did. Taking in his tan skin and relaxed appearance. At least his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo. And you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question. Yeah, I live here. I live right here. I live right there. My name's Rebecca. You continued to say nothing, so I wouldn't give this much information. Yeah, I live here. That's right. That's great. He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. Oh, no, not the money. Okay, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him.
Well...
Oh, I thought he was gonna say the rest. Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have... Let me start over. I wouldn't have said no. Anyways. He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. Straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier. Oh no. I have a son. His name is Cove. Who's about your age. Cove. That seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you. You chewed on the inside of your cheek. This guy was definitely obsessed with water. You thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. You've never met anyone with that name. We moved in across the street. See. He gestured towards the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflected off the walls. The gigantic "for sale" sign was finally gone. You must be Rebecca Love, right? I met your moms earlier, and they told me you were 8, just like him, so... He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tickling his lips at the corners.
Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance, and you can keep this. He's a good kid. You'll like him.
Do you mind?
But you gotta keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you.
You eyed the man. Oh, sure did. Okay, I'll stop. You kind of felt sorry for Cove. Did other kids really get their parents to pay for friendships? That's my question. Had your moms done that for you and Lissy? The thought made you frown. What do you say? Want to make a deal? So this is a titulant, or a very vital moment in the series. Do we take the bill? Do we not take the bill? Or do we run away? I say we take the bill. It's always fun. Whatever. We want the money. Hello? You carefully plucked the bill from his outstretched hand, grinning at the thoughts of what you could do with that much cash. All the sweets you could ever want! You could buy a ticket for the newest movie at the cinema! That's also an exclamation mark, that's why it hints this. You could buy... Okay, that's what I just read. There was a cute stuffed animal you had seen in a store in town. What makes you think I'm interested in stuffed animals? Anyways. It cost a few dollars to set up a library card. With this, you could pay for yourself instead of having your moms do it, honestly. Cool. You weren't even sure yet. I kind of want to pick this one, but I'm not even sure yet. The sky was the limit with that kind of amount, it's true. It really did feel like that as a kid, didn't it? Like, I remember just having, like, our currency is kroner, but we had 20 of those, would just give you a lot of candy back then. I mean, not anymore, Anyways, the man smiled at you, his eyes crinkling at the sides as he did. Phew. Great, that's great. I'll bring him tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but... well, I don't know where he's gotten off to. He laughed when he said that. But with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry. If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it. Can I keep this either way? Sure thing. I can try. Okay. Just say okay. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that. But you're still going to help. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead. Yeah, because you don't know me yet. You don't. So maybe it's a good call, Cliff.
Your mom's already checking.
Oh god, what? Your moms are already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are.
Now, I better go look too. Can't put everyone else to work while I keep sitting here.
I thought he might come back, and that's not what's important. I have to go.
Thanks again, Rebecca. So much.
He jogged off down the street without another word. So stressful, honestly. Cove, are you kidding? So stressful. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Step 1, first sight of love. That's not what it says. You can read. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. Ah! Is that like... Cut that. That's bad. Okay. You always loved the ocean. It was so much fun. You loved to hear stories about the ocean, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. You didn't enjoy the beach all that much, especially the sand, which got absolutely everywhere. Okay, so these I would totally go with I love the ocean. and the beach, which is good for this game because both are present. But I would say you love the ocean. Sometimes Lizzie would join you, the two of you splashing each other in the waves. Those were the best days. That almost rhymed, or was that just me? Anyway, you took in a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something told you that you weren't alone, so you glanced around. And there he is, our man of the hour. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. Those are poppies. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention. He hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him for a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild. Though deer didn't have green hair, wavy eyebrows, huge glasses, pink casts, sad frowns. Deer can be sad. Is it deer's deer? What was it? I don't know. I say wavy eyebrows because what an icon. But this new boy did. You weren't sure what else in the world had eyebrows like that. Oh my god, that's... Well, if there was anything. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another. And then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary. Hi. Hey, Space Cadet. Are you lost? Okay, so for my people who get it, Candy Cadet, okay? Candy Cadet, yeah. So Space Cadet, hi Space Cadet. With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. Like he's damn author up in this. Okay. Oh, he's sad. He's so sad. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. My poor boy. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight. Even though he caught you staring at him, he hid his arms behind his back. Okay, can I just say my cousin and my sister forced me to watch Twilight for the first time ever the other day. And I'm not like, I haven't seen Twilight, so that's why I'm like, no. I just genuinely have never seen it, and I did not want to because it's not a good movie. And I'm sorry. If you're a Twilight fan, stan, whatever, I'm very sorry, but it was horrible, and I just couldn't help but think about that just now. Once again, I digress. Let's go. Something the man earlier had said stuck out to you. Cove? Eyes wide, he studied you. How'd you know that? You touched the money in your pocket, feeling it cringle beneath your fingertips. I met your dad. I'm all-knowing. Lucky guess. I mean, I met your dad. Oh, as he said. So, is this your hill? He gestured with his uninjured arm to the path of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect. I can leave if it is. Yep. No. You can't own a hill. You shook your head. While doing so, you also picked at a strand of lint on your leg. What a weird question to ask someone. Oh. He sat back down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun. Why are you here? Why'd your family move? No, why are you here? A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. My poor little boy! Almost like they'd never stop. They'd never stopped? Sorry, I just didn't continue. His tears started up again with a vengeance. My parents, they don't want to live together with me anymore. The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking in his dark lashes. My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home. The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffled and removed his glasses, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again. I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom. I'm sorry. Your dad seems kinda nice. You'll like it here. You just have to get used to it. Stop crying. Your dad seems kinda nice. He slipped his hands underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up again for another long crying fit. It must be hard for Cove, living here without his mom, but at least he still had a parent who cared about him. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents. Rebecca!
Cove?
Cove? That's what he said. Kids, where did you go? Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks. Don't tell them we're here.
I want to go home.
I don't want to go back into that house. I want to go home. You can handle it. You have to go. Don't worry so much. Sorry, I have to. It'll be okay. It will be okay. You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove. It's not all gonna be fun. It's not gonna be all fun, oh my god. But isn't he your family too? Yeah, I guess. Then you can count on him when you really, really need him. You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again. Cove, can you hear me? He looked towards the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm. Sorry. I still don't want to go. You called out yourself. You waited silently with him. You tried to convince him. I wouldn't really know what to say in this situation. I would just stay silent. Never mind, I knew what to say. Yeah, I get it. You do? Before you could answer, you heard Cove's dad, even closer than before. There you are, bud! The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry. Rebecca, you're here after all. We had been at the park to check for Cove, and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off further away. No, we were just sitting in the grass. Why is everybody acting like this is such a big thing? We're okay, don't worry. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Cove didn't want to go home just yet. Mommy gave Cove a small smile, and then she turned back to you. Thank God you're both fine. Were you two having fun out here? You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. You shrugged. Yes, I like him.
He's good. I think I'm gonna marry him.
No, that's a little intense, you know. But yeah, I like him. You nodded, smiling slightly. He is big mad right now. Finally letting off his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
That's a relief.
Thanks very much for finding him.
I really don't know this neighborhood.
Good thing Rebecca knows this whole area so well.
Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
And thus is the introduction. Almost, although not quite yet. The two of them walked off into the darkness, heading towards the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright cast and until it disappeared. Tell you what, we'll have a proper play date tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him to see you and Lizzie. How does that sound? Sure, can I show him my stuff? It sounds like words. Why are we sassy? You nodded, ducking your head down. Oh god, I have to sneeze. Ooh. Maybe I don't, actually. Do I? No, I don't, I'm good. Okay. Sure. Can I show him my stuff?
Of course.
Of course. Then okay. Both of your moms laughed, the sound overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied, and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Choose your feelings for towards Cove. It can change in later steps. Okay, so I think if we start, because I didn't do it this way the first time I played. I started immediately with Crush. But at 8, I think I would rather choose Fond, Relaxed Fond, or Direct Fond. Because I find that to be interesting. But Crush is just, we're not quite there yet. But Fond, absolutely Fond. Not indifferent, it's not that kind of playthrough right now. We're not indifferent, we are Fond. I'm not sure, nervous, relaxed, a direct Fond. I like you know what? Let's just say relaxed Fond. And let's go. Yeah, let's start it. At the breakfast table in the morning, you finished your food faster than usual. Your sister Lizzie had run out early to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out. Excited to see your new friend again, Rebecca? Yeah, I am.
How sweet.
How sweet. I'm trying to mimic her voice, but it's not going very well. I'm so happy he moved in.
Okay.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast? Yeah, I think that's what that's supposed to sound like. Haha, I don't know, am I? Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded. Mm-hmm. Good job. He should be here soon. Clean up began, and then on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure if they were in the right place. Still loud, though. We need to get a more obvious doorbell. I know. Rebecca, could you get it? Wiggling out of your chair without really pushing it back, you made your way to the door. Hey, love family, thanks for having us. Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him, and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. Pleasant to see your new friend again, you smiled at Cove. He smiled back with some hesitation. You twisted the okay, so these are just different bracelets that I would twist. The threaded bracelet, crystal bead bracelet, flower bead bracelet, shell bracelet. Shell bracelet seems pretty appropriate for this situation. Let's go play in my room.
Okay.
Okay, he's not happy about that.
Take care.
Let us know if you need anything, you two. Have fun, kids.
See you.
See you later, son. Play nice. You led him to your room, puffing out your chest, a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall. I like this. Me too. I drew that. Thank you. I don't. Thank you. You're welcome. You smiled at him. You were proud of that particular piece of art, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned back to look around at the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You started to feel a bit nervous. You felt the atmosphere was kind of awkward. You were glad for the company. You hoped you liked your room. So, you started to feel a bit nervous. It's a new friend situation. I felt a bit nervous. You wanted to say something, but didn't know what, so you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things you had collected, tucked away by your door. Is it this one? Because there is no beach thing in, as far as I can tell, but whatever. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead. What's that? A hoard of stuff I found on the beach! Oh. Do you have any driftwood in there? Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it. I think so. Yeah, see. You gestured into a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat.
Neat. This is a good collection. What was that voice, anyway? You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. That bitch Shiloh. He actually meant it. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Shiloh is gonna be here today. Shiloh? Lacey's friend. Or like, her #1 fan, I guess. Do I have to see him? It should be okay. I mean, he's Lacey's friend, not mine, but you know. Come on, check out my shells some more. I found this one on a big piece of seaweed that I washed ashore and... He pulled out seashell. Oh god, this is gonna make it very obvious that I am not a native English speaker. You pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you got each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed up in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning out the sand. Over the past years, you'd even learned some of their scientific names. The collection was so huge and varied that you had lots of funny stories to tell for all of them. Your voice flattered a little bit, but you could keep going. Faltered, is it? But you kept going as best as you could. The collection was so huge. Apparently fascinated, either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like full force of his attention. Like when you almost got pinched by a hermit crab while searching for shells, and after watching him scuttle back into the ocean, you found another empty shell that was almost a twin to his home. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus. But Cove hadn't been mean to you, so you didn't mind. You smiled at him, every now and then, while showing him your collection. Kids, come down to the living room. You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a chance to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this, Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guess it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd both been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway. I thought it said homies for a reason, I don't know. I bought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them. Okay, but be careful. Great. You should have asked. Okay, but be careful. I will. You weren't sure if you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell. Oh. Like he hadn't spoken out loud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining. I think this one's the best of them. That's my favorite too. I like a different one best. I can show it to you. You can take it. I don't think I would give my beautiful big orange shell to Cove yet, so I like a different one best. I can show it to you. You reached into the box to take out one of your preferred. Cove looked on with interest. The two of you are still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach findings when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that. Lacey's friend. You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away. This isn't a good idea. You'll be alright. He's here. We can't tell him to leave. He's at our only door. And if you go upstairs, he'll find you. That's scary. Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the back of the house. I can go out the window. He was already walking towards it, scrambling to think of something to say. You stepped forward, then paused. Do you want to break another arm? Or do you want to break your other arm? Charlotte's the least scary person alive. Cheer up, Charlotte's gonna like you. Please don't get hurt. I'll come with you. Good idea, let's go. You know what, let's go out the window. Hurry, they'll see where we're going. He glanced back at you, then nodded. The two of you made your way to the window together. So dramatic. But ooh, look at this beautiful thing. Okay, it wasn't much of a distance to clamber out. Or wasn't? Or was? But by the time you landed gently in the bushes, you looked up to see that Cove was already taking off away from the house. He was fast, but you knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast. You knew you could outrun him if you had to. He was not that fast, but neither were you. I don't even need to read this one. T. Cove, I'm coming. You ran as fast as your legs could take you, grass whipping around your ankles as you did so. Oh god, that's when you know it's serious. Cautiously, Cove slowed to halt and looked back at you. Where are you going? I don't know, somewhere else. I just don't want to see. Rebecca! You looked back and saw Shiloh huffing down the hill after you, the backpack he clutched bouncing all around along the way. What are you doing? Can I come? He must have seen you leaving the house and followed behind.
Hi.
Oh, hi! Are you Cove?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm Shiloh. Okay. Yep. Are we going back? Or are we gonna play outside? Shiloh's eyes moved between you and Cove, the smile remaining strong on his face. You got a tiny frown from Cove in his response. You were just grateful he hadn't asked why you'd been running away. Inside, we left the box on the floor. Right, my shells and stuff. We have to make sure they're okay.
Okay.
Okay. With Shiloh trailing behind, you and Cove headed back towards the house. The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at beach things some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else, especially if Cove was having fun. Hey, check out the scallop shell I found. Cool, right? It's a pretty color, kinda like my cast. The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm. Pink is a nice color. Okay. Cove, why you gotta be so rude? We know why. Anyway.
Oh?
Is it your favorite? Not really. What is? I would also be like, the fuck? Maybe green or blue. It might be yellow. Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
I like those colors too. There are better colors. I feel like I have a hair in my mouth. Oh. Not sure how to deal with the suddenly more awkward silence. You look back at your shells. Yeah. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lacey was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either. Is Lacey coming back? Please? Don't know.
Aw.
Where'd she go? I think she's at the beach, probably. Is she playing at her park? Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you. There's a park? Yeah, but it's old. Can you show me? I wanna go. He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement. Really? You do too? Right, Rebecca? The park's so fun. I love it. The park's pretty great. No. Park's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun things to do, and lots of sand. It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings. It sounds like it could be cool. So, are you gonna find Lacey? I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out. Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you. Okay. He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. Aight, I'ma head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lacey had convinced your moms that it was so short she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. Even though I feel like if we are 8, is Lacey like 11, 12 or something? Or maybe she's only a year older than us. I don't know. Whatever. When you found her, she was hanging out in the jungle gym, swinging back and forth. Hey, Lizzie! Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide. Rebecca! Shiloh! Hi! She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the 3 of you, but now Cove was here. You wondered if he would leave too.
Who's that? It's Cove. He's new. Hi. I remember. Hi, Cove.
Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes to play here, so this is where we get together. She gestured wildly with her arms, as if to present the area to the newcomer. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand. Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas.
You are?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job?
Lizzie's the oldest.
By a lot. My mom said you're Rebecca's age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits. Oh yeah, so she's like 10, 11 maybe.
What about other kids?
Other kids? There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh's just visiting from another place. Not even tourists really bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
Oh. For a second, it looked like he might cry again. He takes everything too literal, our guy Cole. But something in his eyes shifted, and he looked back at Lizzie.
What kind of old people? Like moms and dads or grandparents? Oh no, my camera died again. Are you kidding me? Gonna have to stop. Okay, and we're back again. It's the next day. You won't be able to tell unless you can tell by the lighting. And we're back in the same one-piece hoodie. Let's just continue, okay? Lizzie is saying, grandparents who don't have kids, they hate kids. Oh no. Why? We haven't done anything. Only some of them don't like kids. Stop saying stuff like that. You're gonna upset them. Yeah, they're really bad. Only some of them don't like kids. You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffled, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't even looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Oh god, that's the worst place to be, your own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation.
I met Lizzie and Rebecca in school. You'll see tons of kids here once summer is over.
I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end.
Shiloh looked down into the dirt. He hasn't had much luck striking up conversation with Cove.
I like summer vacation a lot, too.
All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely. You didn't really know, but you laughed, face scrunching up.
Okay.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put your feet up, and get used to it. You offered him a small smile, and that, at least, looked to reassure him some. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. Now that's the Three Musketeers right there. That's all you need, right? The sun, the lunch, and the beach. You don't need anything else. During your first summer together, you really liked Cove. He was a fun person to play with, and he seemed to like playing with you too. Of course,
that was only the start of things. Yeah, and here we are with all our moments. Yeah, absolutely, here we are with all our moments. And I think I'm gonna stop the video here, which is hilarious because I only filmed a few minutes here in the morning, but I think I might continue playing. But I think I'll end the video here because this was just the beginning of what our life is like. Now we get to actually select the moments, which are a vital and huge part of the game, obviously. And it's gonna be great. And I will be looking forward to you guys seeing that. If you want to continue looking at this, that was just like a pre-warning of what's to come. Even though I say that like it's dangerous what's to come, it's really not. It's actually just quite exciting. So thank you guys so much for watching for this time. That's extremely Danglish, I feel like. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Actually, I've been holding a secret. The hubby is here in moral support, obviously. So, bye!